What else should Joe and I be looking out for as we put together our reviews then, Jay? What are the little signs and signals?
Well, the very first thing is, when you walk through the door, does the person on the desk look at you? Or are they looking at their computer? Have they got into a point where they're controlling their connection with you? What you want is the moment you walk through the door, that person to look at you. Smile even, that'd be nice. You get there's no mucking around. They either give you a table if you haven't got a booking or find your booking, take you a table and immediately give you menus, offer you a drink. There is the worst sign is that sluggishness at the front desk. They take you to the table, you're sitting there, you're waiting for someone to bring you a menu, you're waiting for someone to just offer you a glass of water. All of that should happen quickly.
Well, that sounds so basic that you want to greet someone
wouldn't you?
That is willing to experience your food and then part with money for a service that you're providing. The basics is let's make eye contact and say hello, and yet it's so taken for granted these days that you're just in and out, in and out, in and out. Where's the experience?
One thing that I have to say, and I want to say it now, being front of house is a really difficult job, and historically in this country it has not been rewarded well. So the last thing I want to come across as is a twat who sounds entitled and assumes that rose petals should be thrown in front of my feet the moment I walk through the door.
Already have one of them as a co-host.
Thank you, Joe.
I know.
No,
I know how hard that job is, and I don't think we respect it enough in this country in the way they do, say, in France or Spain or Italy. That said, there are ways of doing it well and there are ways of not doing it well.
just trying to go back to our meal there. We were greeted, and then they got someone else. They said, just wait here for a sec, or my colleague's going to come over, and they got someone specifically to then take us up to the table. That was quite a nice touch. I felt welcome.
The water, Joe, was no more than 40 seconds after we'd sat down.
Oh, they're a class operation in Dishoom. I mean, they really are.
What else? What about the? Are we looking for the smell? Are we looking for the atmosphere? Is that something that you judge?
What I always say is I'm not a food critic. I am a restaurant critic. I am telling you how much pleasure your money will buy you. Most restaurants, when we walk past them, we're walking past a room that we want to be in. The point of a restaurant is you go in there. I mean, there are some we go to because we're hungry, we need to eat, we're on the road or whatever. But generally, if we choose to, let's eat out tonight or let's go out for lunch, you want to go into a room that can close the door on life and stop the world for 2 or 3 hours. There are lots of different ways that can happen. Some of them are the big bustling brasserie. Dishoom is a bustling space. And they've done a lot on the decor, particularly we're in King's Cross, and that's a breeze block unit that they have modelled in their own style. Some are going to be a little more, what should we say, sophisticated and elegant, a bit more carpeting, it's the tinkle of glass, and it'll be relaxing. God save us from those that feel less like a place you go for dinner than somewhere you've gone to be interred. It's a coffin in which you've been buried alive. Yeah. You know the ones. Again, it's about what kind of atmosphere you're looking for, what you want out of it, and what your expectation is in relation to the food that they're serving and the price point. That also plays a part.
You're such a well-known character and figure now. How do you go disguised? How do you do these? Are they planned?
I basically have a whole collection and team of makeup artists and wardrobe and a lot of prosthetics. A lot of prosthetics, Joe. Mm-hmm. And we work on a new look. And I've employed Matthew Kelly as a consultant so that we can.
I feel like I'm being mocked. I feel strongly that there's mocking coming towards me.
And I each time I'm going to a restaurant, turn to Matthew and I say, "Today, Matthew, who should I be?" And he comes up, "No." Funnily enough, no, none of that is true. It is true that because I whore around on television sometimes, not much, I do MasterChef, but happily it's one of the most watched programmes on TV. So if you don't much like doing TV, and I don't really, it's a bit of a faff, it's quite a good one to do because people almost think you're famous if you do that. So it's good for other things and, presents opportunities. But I book under a pseudonym. They do not know I'm coming. And restaurants are like theatre. As in when you go to see a play, by the time they open, there is next to nothing they can do about the script, The actors, the direction, the lighting, the comfort of the seats. It's all sorted. And by the same token, when I walk through the door, there's nothing they can't get new ingredients, they can't get new staff, they can't get new recipes, they can't get a new menu. They can only give me what they've got.
They kiss your ass more. Let's say that you've gone in there as, let's say,
I'm horrible.
Ray Janer.
I'm horrible, Tom.
You used the pseudonym Ray Janer, and
You're better than that. You're much better than that.
Yeah. If you'd like to do a pickup after I've left in which you come up with a much better pseudonym, I won't judge you.
What else have you used, by the way? Because pseudonyms are actually quite hard, aren't they?
Okay, for a long while, I used the name of a fictional restaurant critic who appeared in a novel of mine, which was about a restaurant critic who has never said sorry for anything, and he decides to start apologising, and he becomes so good at it, he's appointed chief apologist to the United Nations. Anyway, that character, Mark Bassett, I liked the idea of him emerging into the world, and so I'd book under the name Bassett. Now, I'm afraid it's really, really boring. I just book under the name of the person I'm going with.
Yeah. That was the other question. So you go with someone?
I have friends. I know some of your listeners will find that startling, but I do have friends. So, yeah, I need two of us go, sometimes more than two, not often, but sometimes more than two. They are given instructions, and those who come with me on a regular basis understand this. I love them dearly. I don't go out with anybody I don't like, obviously. But I am not interested in their opinion at all, because I am the one writing the review. I mean, if there's
what a joy to go out with.
No. We've got lots to talk about. I think a table in a restaurant is the perfect place for disclosure. If you want to get the skinny on what's going on in someone's life, take them out for dinner, give them a glass, hunker down and start talking. You will find stuff out. I love my time at the table with my mates. But they have to know I'm the one writing, not them. Some of them know a bit more than food than others. And if they say something clever, witty, funny, I will have it. It's mine. But they are instructed that when the waiters come round, as they will, and say, how is everything? And they might say it repeatedly. They are instructed to say only one word. And that word is fine. Yep, it's the most passive-aggressive word in the English language. And anybody who's got teenage sons will know that it is unrevealing of any emotional position. But what that enables me to do is decide later, to mull on what the experience, on what I want to say. So actually, I'll tell you a story. So my wife, Pat, in the past used to come on lots of reviews, and I would say, now, please don't. And she'd go, no. And they'd come and say, well, that was great. Thank you. That was lovely. And it's like, I might not be about to write a positive review. And then there was one particular occasion when she'd done the full, oh, that was lovely. Thank you. Marvellous. Wonderful. We get in the camera and she goes, well, that was shit, wasn't it?
Brilliant.
And I go, now you understand, because you have sent one message to this restaurant, the staff, they've all gone away thinking, oh, it was great, and I am now going to write a less than positive review. You've not made it better for them, you've made it worse. That said, I have sort of changed recently. I am absolutely conscious that when this walks through the door, it can be a little annoying. It may not be what you were planning for a restaurant. You know, you've got a full book of guests, and then one of them, you know, looks like Lawrence Llewellyn-Bowen gone to seed.
I was going to say retired musketeer.
Oh, were you?
Retired musketeer. I think
Only recently retired, a couple of years.
Okay, that's all right. But
Which one?
Yeah, he can't name them, so it's fine.
D'Artagnan wasn't a musketeer, was he?
Was he not?
No, because he joined them. Porthos, Aramis, and D'Artagnan. I don't know the third one.
D'Artagnan.
I don't know. I think my
Jeremy
Lawrence
Irons.
Bowen gag was better.
Yeah, we'll stick with that one.
Yeah, or Dave Grohl after a heavy night.
Both good.
Yeah, when I turn up, it's not necessarily Christmas all round in the kitchen. If I have had a really lovely time, and I know I've had a lovely time, and it's terrific, I will make a point of telling them before I leave. I said, thank you, that was great. So if you're listening to this, you're a chef or a restaurateur, and I turn up and I booked under a pseudonym. If I booked under my own name, I'm just there for dinner. If I booked under a pseudonym and I've had dinner and I leave without saying anything, I'm just so sorry.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, I know.
So you said there's no shame and no guilt, Jay. I'm going to tell you what my guilty pleasure is.
Oh, no.
Oh, what's that face for?
I'm worried.
So I like, and my friends know this, and I've done this at their houses and they all hate me for it, is to go to the cupboard where the cereal is, stick my hand in the bag of cereal and just eat some dry cereal while walking around the house.
You do this in other people's houses?
Well, when I was living with them, yeah.
That is fucking
I
disgusting,
told
Tom.
you. So Jay says there's no shame, and he's been.
No,
proved
there's
wrong.
no shame. There is shame.
No,
in
there's
theft.
no shame in what you eat. There is shame in having appalling manners.
Can I come round for a cup of tea and a handful of whatever cereal you've got in the cupboard? You're not coming around my house ever.
Says the man who ate 9 packets of Skips in bed one night.
It was 10. It was 10. And it was Quavers.
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 A fine cornstarch snack if ever there was.
I got a little bit peckish in bed. In fact, another bed story happened the other night. Not the one that you want to hear. It was after a game. I had a couple of Guinnesses. I was still wired from all the caffeine and that, so I was up watching Netflix. Daisy was in bed next to me, and I've got this can of Guinness on my poured into a glass, like resting on my belly. And she was half asleep, half thinking, "So you're right, you're not going to fall asleep like that?" And I was like, "No, I'll be fine. I'll be fine."
You did though, didn't you?
So I had polished off that Guinness, and I was still quite thirsty, and then got a little bit peckish. And then I went downstairs, got a big bag of those Dorito chili heat wave flavour. Got another Guinness, came back up. It was the giant bag. Polished that one off, finished off the Guinness, and Daisy woke up the next morning about 7:30, 8 o'clock. I was still in exactly the same position, sat bolt upright, hand on gut, empty crisp packet there. Just, she was like, "You are a disgrace. This has to stop. You cannot keep eating crisps in our marital bed." And I went, "Can I eat in the bed downstairs?" She went, "Yes." And that is now your bed. So that's another food thing with that. But I still think yours is worse. You can't put your hand in someone else's cereal, mate. That's a no-no.